Welcome back to the Coach Business School podcast. My name is Andy Ramage. I'm the founder of the Coach Business School. I'll be your coach and your guide for this conversation. And it's a big one. Why AI will be the best thing that ever happened to coaching. Before we get there, just a reminder, this episode is brought to you by the Coach Business School. If you want to come and train with me to become a world-class executive coach, life coach, and or alcohol-free performance coach, go to coachbusiness.school. Come and join me on our free webinar. If you want to get to meet me in advance or look around that site, you'll find everything you need to know. And if you're already a qualified coach, check out our specialisms. I will be running another alcohol-free performance coach specialism for qualified coaches, as well as our ADHD specialism and positive psychology specialisms that are underway. Do go to coachbusiness.school. And if you want a drink to light up your life, Authentic Brew is the way to go. I'm showing that to the camera for those that are watching this on YouTube. And don't forget, this is also, if you're listening to this on YouTube as well, or vice versa, if you prefer podcasts. So wherever you are, you can't miss out on, hopefully, these words of wisdom when it comes to coaching. As someone that's been in the coaching world for pushing towards 15 years now, it's the greatest gift I've ever been given. It's changed my life in so many ways. And I'm so grateful and thankful for coaching. That's why I like to share some of these insights with you. So let's talk about AI, this big thing that we're all starting to use. And no doubt you as a coach, you as a person in your existing career are starting to play around with AI, whether it's Claude or Chat, whatever your setup is. Now, of course, like all of these things, there's a knee-jerk reaction to it. It's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We're going to use AI for absolutely everything, right? And you can see already, and I knew this would happen, AI is being used more frequently for people's writing, the written word. So social media is such a brilliant outlet for this, right? Because people can just game the system really quickly now. AI, write me 1 million posts on LinkedIn. Brilliant. Post one every single day for the rest of my life. I mean, it would literally do that for you, wouldn't it, in a second? But who on earth wants to read that absolute garbage? No one. AI slop, as it's been known, right, is just proliferating our worlds completely. No one wants to read it. No one wants to be duped into reading something that they think a human has written, for example, by a machine. And I can see that. Yes, it's got so many incredible advantages for crunching big numbers, for coming up with insights and ideas. Absolutely get it. But when it comes to the finer arts, the human arts, I would argue, of the written word, yes, it can write perfectly, but perfect is boring, isn't it? It's not human. This is the thing. It can do the things because it follows the rules. There's rules of language, right? So it can produce information, absolutely unquestionable. But what you're seeing on a mass scale, and it's only going to get a lot worse before it gets way better. And I think all that's going to happen is, in a moment, everyone's going to completely turn off it. For these type of usages is what I'm saying, not in general, because it's got so many benefits. But in terms of those human qualities, whilst knee-jerk says, yay, this is great, look at all this AI stuff. And then eventually we go, nah, there's something just missing about that person's content that they're putting out into the world, or that post. Yeah, that's just, it's got that AI-ness to it. And even if we can't detect that it's AI with a human eye, there's an energy to words. There just is. There's an energy to the way that we connect as humans. The AI cannot replace. It can do 1 million and bazillion incredible, wonderful things, and it will be unbelievably beneficial to us in so many ways. And as coaches, it's going to be the greatest gift we've ever been given. But the reason I'm teeing up that first point, because that's a real lived experience of AI in our world, isn't it? The AI slop phenomenon that we're all completely turned off by. If I get an email and I think it's AI, I'm never reading that in 1 million years. And the more people I talk to, they feel exactly the same. Now, why is this important for coaching? Because what's going to happen is this. AI will be able to replicate forms of coaching relatively easily, especially if you go to the coach awarding bodies, the big accreditation bodies, ICFs and Association for Coaches and the MCCs. They have quite a rigid format for how coaching should be done that by and large does take quite a lot of the human element out of it. Now you can easily build models to replicate that, right? That's not going to be an issue. And in a moment, you'll be able to replicate humans via video. So there'll be a video version of someone that's got access to the whole internet that is a coach, that will coach you using those guidelines from the big coaching accreditations. So it will mimic coaching perfectly and have a database of knowledge that obviously a human could never, ever in a million years compete with. There'll be a knee jerk of going, oh, this is brilliant. We can all get AI coaches. But here's the beautiful part for us humans, and it's this. And I saw a post recently from Jonathan Passmore, who created the Grow model, was talking about coaching at the moment's available to about 1 million people globally. I mean, it's tiny, isn't it, when you actually think about that, versus how many people there are in the world, versus how many people coaching would actually benefit, which I believe absolutely everyone on the planet. Now, what's going to happen is, and this was the research they were showing, that very soon that number's going to move to 1 billion. And the reason being because the barrier to entry is completely gone. Whereas at the moment, right, you need to invest in a coach, and that comes with a price tag, clearly, that most people are not interested in or can afford in many circumstances. And that awareness of what coaching is and isn't really there either, by and large, for most people. So what will happen with the advent of AI, because those barriers will be completely reduced, i.e. to pretty much nothing, no doubt, i.e. you'll be able to get coached by a Claude or a Gemini, whoever it is, more and more people will experiment, right? Because now it's free, essentially. So more and more people will have a lived experience of what it's like to have a form of coaching. So that 1 million number at the moment with human coaches might rise to 1 billion. Now, you might think, yeah, but why is that good for us human coaches if everyone using these AI coaches, 1 billion people are using these AI coaches? Well, I'll give you another good lived example of this. 25 years ago, I first stepped into the world of commodities broking. Back then, it was all in the open outcry pits, the guys with the bright jackets that would scream and shout at one another. And of course, technology came in, and eventually those open outcry pits got closed and it went to the screen. So computerized systems, effectively. And everyone said, that's it, it's finished, it's all over. There'll be no need for the humans in the machine, right? Now it's on a platform. People can just trade it. They don't need to come to us brokers. Our careers are all over. Here we are 25 years later. The human element to that business is absolutely thriving in a way that, 25 years ago we couldn't have even dreamt of. Now, the reason being is because to trade on those open outcry pits, it only was available to a very small amount of organizations or individuals. But once it went electronic and it was a screen-based system, the whole world could start to trade those commodities. So instead of it being a million, it's now 1 billion equivalent, metaphorically. And what happened with that is because there's loads more people in the system, the overspill from that meant lots more business, lots more clients, lots more interest that wanted to use human brokers to gain the extra edge. And I think it'd be exactly the same with AI and coaching. That billion number, right? 1 million to 1 billion is just such a massive jump. Think about that. Of that billion, a bit like AI slop, that's where hopefully I'm going to tie this all together. Lots of people will have that lived experience and it will be good. It will be good. A bit like if you read an AI paragraph, it's good. Sometimes it's a bit better than good. Sometimes it's pretty bloody good. But equally, over time, you just suspect something's not quite right. There's that like sloppiness to it, that perfection to it, that lack of energy and humanness to it that just sort of leaves a funny taste in your mouth. And then you're put off by reading that person's content anymore because you just sort of feel something's not right. Or if you know it's AI, you're instantly switched off. And I think exactly the same is going to happen with coaching. The knee jerk will be, this is amazing. And then people will go, oh, something's not quite, I'm just missing something. The human is what they're missing, right? And people will work it out in the same way. I never want to read something AI has written. Of course I will, because I'll be duped into it occasionally, but not willingly. And I think the same thing will happen with coaching. So then imagine that 1 billion people now, if a tiny, tiny percentage of that billion decide they want real human coaching, that will be a tidal wave of coaching opportunity like we've never seen before for humans. Because we will then benefit from the fact that now, instead of it being this very small number of people every year that have experienced coaching, billions of people will. And of those billions, there'll be many, many people that'll be like, something's missing. I want a real coach. Can I find a real coach? And of course, We'll be there to work with them because real humans want to work with real humans. We've never wanted to work with Photoshop perfection, and AI will be Photoshop perfection. That's not what lights us up. We need to get in a room with someone that's lived a bit, that's wrestled with life a bit, not a bot that mimics that. Of course, again, there'll be benefits to it, but only to a point. Whereas human coaches just add that certain je ne sais quoi of imperfection, of being a real person. And when you combine that with great coaching and helping people get great results, the value of coaching, I think, will go through the roof. The opportunities of coaching will go through the roof. It will be a change like we've never seen for the better. Because lots of the real top AI experts, and you've heard many of these, I quoted one of them recently who appeared on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, was saying the professions like therapy, counselling, coaching are going to become more and more valuable over time. And one of the reasons for that is because there's going to be so much change going on that people are going to look in different directions for support. And you can imagine if it's AI causing the change, they're probably a lot less likely to want to work with coaches that are AI based than real human coaches. Win, win, win. So for me, AI is the greatest gift to coaching, and it gets better. It gets better because as someone that is interested in the business of coaching, the business side of coaching, we do a lot of that at Coach Business School, that's become easier and easier now. Many of those tasks that might have taken you weeks, especially if you're trying to do it part-time, a lot of people do when they start their coaching practice, are now taking minutes. I mean, the time savings in terms of running a small business are off the charts, which allows you to spend more time doing the thing that you actually want to do, is coaching. You can use it and leverage it in many different ways for your marketing. Just try to avoid a load of AI slop and just plastering that all over the internet, because you'll get found out in 5 minutes and it's the most boring thing you could ever do. But equally, there's so many different ways that you can utilize and use it, whether that's to record a podcast and have it transcribed, and maybe your words turned into something that is a post that feels a bit more like you, that you edit and update. These things would have taken so long before, now literally take seconds. But I think if you can keep the human in the machine, as it were, and really sharpen shine your message, and I think things such as podcasts, videos will become more and more valuable because people will see that it's a real human on the end of the screen or the microphone, as it were. And of course, AI can mimic all those things, and it can do that already. But for you personally to show up and shine in that way, I think will be incredibly valuable. And also to really work on the written word that's you will become incredibly valuable. So those things combined, and then when we use the power of AI for our business, I think it's the greatest time ever to be a coach. And if you're excited by this and you're not already a coach, come and join me and become one. It's pretty straightforward. Go to coachbusiness.school, and there you'll find loads of information about how to become a coach. And if you're already a qualified coach and you want to come and work with me to grow your specialisms, alcohol-free performance coach specialism will be coming out soon. Do go to the website coachbusiness.school to find out more, as well as our ADHD course that's running at the moment that's absolutely on fire. By the way, it's been brilliant, that course, as well as our positive psychology coaching specialism. If you're interested in any of these and you can't find the details, just drop a note to team@andyramage.com and we'll give you all the information you need. Until next time, keep coaching. Your coach, Andy.